This is Joshua Hart here for Seconds Out. Delighted today to be joined by Steed Woodall over Zoom. Steed, first of all, thank you very much for your time this afternoon. And how is everything?
Yeah, brilliant, mate. As I was just saying, another day in the life of dad life. It's just finished off with my daughter and made it in time for the interview. Yeah.
Fair enough, it's good to hear. We'll dive straight into things. Last time out for yourself, it was a huge victory in your career as you stopped Lerrone Richards in 6 rounds. How pleased were you with your performance that night?
Yeah, it was good. I did say after the fight, me and my team, I believe we were the only ones that gave us a chance in that fight. The bookies had us 100 to 1, uh, in, and individual round betting to win the fight. And I know some of my fans there that night won a few quid. So yeah, I mean, I was happy obviously coming out with the win. It's just that it's been a long time coming for me to finally get that opportunity and for it all to come together. So really happy.
Obviously, when you talk about getting the opportunity to box on a big platform like Channel 5, we know the fight with Lerrone was originally meant to happen back in April, I want to say, but it then got delayed until June. While it wasn't great for you having the fight originally stalled and postponed, not postponed, but pushed back, how much of a benefit was there in the fight actually being pushed back to June? So did it give you more time to prepare, would you say?
It was just the fact that I picked up an injury and wasn't 100%. You can't enter fights like that and not be 100%. I certainly wasn't there for a paycheck. I was there to take that title home. And if you look at my interviews before that fight, I knew with confidence that I was taking that title home. Again, everyone wrote me off. No one gave me a chance in that fight, and I've been calling for names like that for years now. Finally, I got one, and I'm hoping that will lead to another opportunity.
And how much has your life changed, I guess you could say, since beating Lerrone Richards and, pulling off that huge upset?
Not at all, to be honest, mate. I was back on the tools 2 days later. Um, I've got a young daughter at home, single parent as well, so we're just trying to make things work. And I don't have any. I had a couple of people, small sponsors help me with that fight in terms of the preparation, but yeah, no, still in full time work, and yeah, life hasn't changed much. So I'm hoping now I'll get the back in the top promoter or another chance from another champion, and then I can change my life then.
Fair enough. And you mentioned obviously being in full-time work, which is just an even bigger credit to yourself for still being a professional boxer day to day. Um, how does it impact training? Obviously, if you're not able to be a full-time boxer after full-time work as well, how do you balance training around also committing to a full-time job?
Genuinely, it is so hard. I'm the kind of guy that's, I'm one of the hardest workers in the gym. In fact, I like to say I am the hardest worker in the gym because I look around when I'm training and I make sure I'm training the hardest. Um, that being said, I do have to, my days start really early in the morning. I'm on the tools all day. I fit bedrooms and hard flooring. Um, it's a very physically demanding job. A bit of strength and conditioning, suppose you could say. um, but yeah, no, it is tough putting it all in because I really like to live the life of an athlete and make sure I don't miss any of my running, swimming, strength and conditioning, all just as important on fight night. And that's why I was ready at short notice and why I was in such good shape for the fight.
Fair enough. And then looking forward now, obviously you mentioned wanting a big opportunity. What is next for yourself in your career? Has there been any discussions as of what's to next?
Unfortunately, because I don't have the backing of a promoter, I'm kind of just floating at the moment. I don't think uh, the phone's going to go too quickly after a good performance like that. It may be a case of someone's going to try and catch me at short notice again, but obviously that's why I'll need to stay ready now and be ready to answer the phone. I did call for a few fights, which I don't usually do, but I've been told to do now. I had a response from Kevin Saggio. He's the European and WBC silver champion. Um, and he is interested in the fight. I just need to get a platform for that fight to be on. I don't really have the promotional backing at the moment, so hopefully that will change and what a great fight me and him would be. You know, we both um, come to fight. You know, I can definitely outbox him as well. But I fancy myself in a shootout as well.
Obviously, you mentioned the phone not ringing too quickly. How frustrating is that, especially coming off the back of a great performance? You'd like to think that people are going to want you on their platform. How frustrating is it when the phone's not ringing?
This is it. It's just such a tough sport. It's a very fickle sport. You know, you take one loss, right? You know, my first loss was such a hard road to come back from. Nobody wants to know. You know, I had a couple of fights. I had one fight I fought for free. I didn't fight for any money. You fight for very small purses on small hall shows, and you invest more into your training camp. You know, you're working with conditioning coaches and you know meal prep things like that. So you actually lose money in boxing at that level. But you know, I persevered, and the opportunity came through. I took it both hands and snatched the title. So hopefully now, the years behind the perseverance. You know, I turned pro over 10 years ago. 11 years. Was it 11 years? Yeah, I'm 30 years old now. I was 19 when I turned pro. So hopefully now, we can reap some of the rewards of a long journey.
Fair enough. And then obviously, you mentioned obviously being full-time work and losing a lot of money in boxing at times. What does that say about the belief that you've got in yourself, and not just the belief that you have in yourself, but the belief that the people around you and your team have, if you're still staying so dedicated to the sport more than 10 years in now?
Yeah, it's been so tough. Like I'm really quite a mentally tough person anyway. I've kind of had that sort of belief about myself from a young age. You know, I was winning national titles from the age of 14. But I owe so much credit to my trainer, my training team even, and my manager as well, because I've had so many ups and downs and so many frustrating times of just, you know, battles in life as everyone goes through. But when you're juggling so many things, you need a good team around you to help you stay motivated and just be a happy and positive person at the same time. And yeah, so I'm just so blessed to have such a good supportive team and family around me. My brother's very influential on my training, my mental health and confidence. My mom's like one of my biggest inspirations, one of my biggest supporters. So yeah, it all kind of came together on that night, and I was just so happy to give that victory to them. Definitely.
Fair enough. And then just moving forward to look at some of the broader topics in the boxing world at the moment. We recently got the news that Canelo's next opponent is going to be Edgar Berlanga. That takes place September 14th. When you sit down and you look at that fight on paper, who do you side with?
I mean, you know, it's hard to side with anyone against Canelo, isn't it? Because Canelo's, you know, active goat, so to speak. You know, I do rate Canelo. So most definitely would lean with Canelo on that. I mean, Lerrone Richards was next in line to fight Balango if he was to come through with a win. And obviously, you know, I would have liked to fight myself, a former opponent, which, you know, I felt I won against Paddy McCrory. He fought Balango as well. But yeah, no, let's go with Canelo on that one.
Fair enough. And how much do you agree with people saying out there on social media that Canelo does look like he's on the slide after his last few performances?
I mean, it's hard to knock the man. I mean, even if he's on the slide, he's still beating guys, isn't he? I mean, you know, for someone to have had such a career that he has, and you know, obviously the money he has in the bank, he's got nothing else to prove. You know, he's a multi-division, multi-weight world champion. I mean, he's really got nothing left to prove. So you can't give the man nothing but credit. You know, that's why when I mentioned about the sport being so fickle, you know, you wait until he does eventually lose, if he does. And how many people have so many things to say? You know, as you said, is he on the slide a little bit? And so many people have got so many bad things to say already. But yeah, I mean, obviously, best wishes to Balango as well. You know, young and hungry. He's a good champion. He's been putting people out, hasn't he? So he's got every chance in there. You can't write him off. But yeah.
Do you feel this fight could possibly be a little bit too soon for Edgar Berlanga to step in there against someone like Canelo?
Yeah, I just don't think he's had those hard fights. I don't think he's been the distance with. I know Steve Woodall, a former opponent of mine, he fought him went the distance. And apparently, from what I didn't actually watch the full fight, to be honest, but apparently Steve should have won that fight. So has he been tested enough? It's hard to say. He's certainly got the pedigree, so you can't knock him for that, and he's waiting for his opportunity. So yeah, as I said, best wishes to him.
Understandable. And then just moving forward again, we got the news a few weeks ago that we're going to see Riyadh season come to London. Anthony Joshua takes on Daniel Dubois at Wembley Stadium. How do you see that fight unfolding between the two heavyweights?
It's another interesting one, isn't it? I mean, you can't go against Joshua. Even at this point of his career, people saying he is hungry, all of these things. Similar to the situation we were just talking about with Canelo. But Dubois, he's got the fire in his belly, hasn't he? He had that great performance against Usyk, and yeah, may the best man win. I've always been a Joshua fan. He's done a lot for the sport, inspired myself as well, and so yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. If you ask me who I'm going with, I'd lean towards Joshua.
Fair enough. And then when you look at this card on paper from top to bottom, where does it rank in terms of the best cards we've ever seen in the UK?
I mean, it's up there, isn't it? That they're obviously invested into it, which is brilliant, amazing for the sport, and it's good to see it in the UK, because I know, the fight abroad, there's been so many comments on the atmosphere outside of the ring. The venues are empty, these like huge fights, and of course that's such a big part of British culture. Boxing started in Britain, didn't it? So I mean, obviously a lot of it's to do with like the alcohol and things like that, which isn't served over there at those venues. So it's kind of hard to kind of get that atmosphere over there. I think the loyal fans would travel, but it's just not the same as in the UK. So it's great to see it here as well, and other countries.
Understandable. And then how much of a chance do you give the underdog in Daniel Dubois?
I mean, again, that heavyweight division is really kind of one punch can change a fight. Most divisions now, at that level, there's a really, I wouldn't say it's 50-50, but he most certainly can hurt Joshua. We've seen it before. We've seen Joshua go down and get back up. I mean, he's got every chance in there. I don't want to say 50-50, but it's a brilliant matchup. Two big, heavy punches, and the British audience should definitely get behind both of them.
And then just lastly, how much do you feel Anthony Joshua's improved since joining up with Ben Davison?
Yeah, I mean, Ben Davison's turned some careers around, hasn't he? Like when he's with like Billy Joe and things like that. He gives them a new look, a new style, kind of a new fire almost. So yeah, I mean, I think that coaching relationship is just so important. Like what I have with my coach is it can't be replicated anywhere. I've trained with Hall of Fame coaches in America. Some of the best gyms, so to speak, in the world. And I think without that relationship, boxing is just a fight at the end of the day. And I think when you sit down in that corner, unless you 100% trust that person, what they're saying to you, then you're not going to get the result. In my last fight, I sat down in the corner. I think I lost that round, and it's on camera. Paul Soggy is known as, gave me a couple of slaps in the corner, and he said a couple of words. He said, you're going to be crying in the changing room. He said, think of your daughter, all these things, and for someone that doesn't mean anything to you, wouldn't have been reciprocated by me, but it's one of those moments where it kind of gets under your skin. You get the goosebumps and you think, right, it's now or never. This has got to be done. And hopefully Josh has got that with Ben, and he's got that kind of fire in his belly when they're working together, and they have that relationship where he trusts Ben, and if he needs to tell him to do something, he's got that 100% belief that he can go out there and do it. So important.
Steed, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you very much for your time this afternoon. It's been a pleasure, and hopefully we get some big fight news for yourself soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for your time, mate. Have a good one. All right, take care.